Welcome to Podula Rasa. I'm David Blank.
And I'm Jim Esch.
This is a podcast about finding something in nothing.
On today's show, we feature meditation updates, some music from the Thom Williams archives, and much, much more.
Hi, everybody. This is Jim, and I'm joined by my friend Dave Blank. Dave, how are you doing now that it's the autumnal equinox?
Yeah, doing good. It's a balanced day.
Happy to get the fall now.
Finally, after many very hot late summer days.
We were chatting before the podcast started, and you said you've been really getting back into meditation lately. So how's it going with your meditation life?
It's going good. I'm meditating probably 5 out of every 7 days now, pretty routinely, which, having added a dog to our family, has been surprising to me, because usually adding something new creates a lot more things to do. And in this case, it definitely did also, but it seems like the more things there are, the more time there is somehow, thankfully, because this dog definitely requires a lot of time, 2 to 3 major walks per day. And, but we're a month in and, training each other very, very nicely. I'm only meditating for 10 minutes when I do it. But sometimes I just let it go and go a little bit longer. But it's very deep now somehow. When I settle in, I don't have to prepare much, and I'm in. And the thoughts just start bubbling away, and it's been very productive, I think. So, but actually, before we talk more about that, I have to apologize to all my Buffalo fans, because I said that Tim Horton played for the Bills, and that's just a horrible thing, because he played for Buffalo, but he played for the Sabres, which is a completely different sport.
Well, we always want to correct the record on Podula Rasa, right. So we're still hoping Tim Horton sponsors us at some point. So we got to make sure we get our facts straight. After that podcast that we did, I got curious about Tim Hortons, and I was Googling to see, are there any Tim Hortons coffee shops anywhere in the area? And there really isn't anything close. I think the 2 closest ones, there's one in Allentown, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then there's at least one in South Jersey. I think it's nearby where the Flyers practice. In their practice facility is in Voorhees, New Jersey.
Yep.
But then, I was in a Wegmans supermarket in Downingtown, and I was shopping the coffee and tea, and I noticed you can buy the bagged Tim Hortons coffee down here. So I picked up a bag of the dark roast.
Good.
I like it.
So do you drink dark roast more often than?
Yeah, I tend to favor dark roasts.
If I can plug what I've been drinking lately, Dunkin' Donuts, which I generally am not a big fan of, makes a espresso roast for K-Cups, which we probably drink too many of in this house. But it's really good, and it's not hugely expensive. And because normally we'll do Starbucks, like French roast, or that's what I drink. Tosh drinks Pike's Place. But this is like probably 2/3 of the cost of Starbucks.
Yeah.
And it's not insignificant. So I'm on Subscribe and Save now on Amazon. So
cool.
I get my delivery of caffeine.
It's funny, I've never liked the Starbucks coffee. I've always found it to be too bitter, too harsh, too hot. And I just tend to avoid Starbucks. Their specialty coffees are better than their just roast coffee for me. But right. I hardly ever go to Starbucks. But it's good to know that variety of Dunkin' is good.
For Starbucks, have you ever tried their Italian roast?
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite Starbucks. But Tim Hortons is good. We'll get it occasionally. Because especially in this area, it's if you just want to buy a single box without making a tuition payment, you can Tim Hortons is reasonable.
All right, so back to meditation.
Yes.
What do you think was the trigger for getting you back into more of a regular habit with it?
The app that we use, the Insight Timer, started putting like a little meditation, like a little thing to read at the beginning of each meditation, and I started reading it. So like a little quote, Buddha or Gandhi or somebody, anybody, and that really helped a lot. And I don't think I even remember when they started doing that, but I just I saw it, I started reading it, and it just kind of propelled me to do it more regularly. I still miss every now and then, but um, are you still meditating daily? I think I see you on the app occasionally.
Yes, I often do it really, really early. I often get up at the 4 o'clock hour,
Okay,
and it's uh, after like feeding the cat. It's the first thing I do.
right.
Is I just immediately go in and meditate, and then
Because if you
um,
don't feed the cat, you won't be able to
you
meditate.
won't be able to meditate. Right, right. Usually, if the pets are like, if their needs are attended to, like they will help me meditate because they basically meditate most of the day,
Yeah,
and they're very zen. Like like my I was playing with longer meditation times. Like I've sort of been, I don't know if struggle is the right word, but I'll just use that. I was struggling a little bit with like, maybe it's like anxiety, and then the kind of creeps into start worrying about things when you're meditating, and it's hard to let go of it. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try doing like longer sessions. I normally do around 20 minutes, and then I ramped that up to like 40 to 45.
oh,
And that was okay for a while, but then now I'm back to like the 20 to 25 range, which seems
yeah,
to be normal, especially after I started back teaching. So it's going fine. Like it's good. Some days are better than others. And I
that's
often follow up. So if I do my 20 minutes of just silent meditation with the beginning and ending bells, then
right.
I'll often will listen to other content on Insight Timer. Sometimes it's like ambient music with binaural beats. Sometimes it's someone doing a talk. It's fun. So like often there'll be add-ons. So it'll be like 20 minutes plus maybe another half hour of assorted content.
Okay,
And it helps me to ease into the day. It's a great app.
yeah.
They really do it right. I have no complaints about Insight Timer.
I joined one of the communities, I think for SNHU, with one of the schools that I'm at, and they have an Insight Timer community, and I'm not sure why I did, but I did, and I think there's so they must be keeping stats on who meditates and when. I don't know. I never hear anything about it. They're
Yeah.
very encouraging of a work-life balance for sure.
Speaking of balance, let's listen to a song by Maury Joseph and Thom Williams. I don't even know if you remember way, way back in the early Padula Rasa days, we talked to Maury and Dave Foreman about the Our House project where they were raising money to publish Dave Foreman's book. And
That's right.
and Maury and Tom wrote all these tunes and recorded them at Marple, and people would like buy a tune of, and so forth. So this comes from that project, and it's a song called Balance is the Way.
When you're in the air and fate is tumbling, believe in yourself. There's always something. If the world ever turns upside down, remember everything you found. Balance is the way. Keep your balance, and you will say balance is the way. Balance is the way. No matter how high you climb, balance is the way. No one can judge you except yourself. It's all that matters. That's what I learned. victory. If you believe in what you know and what you see, balance, balance is the way. Keep your balance, and you will say, balance is the way. Balance is the way. Balance is the way. No matter how high you climb, balance, balance is the way. Balance is the way. Balance is the way. Balance is the way. Yes, it is.
All right, Dave, what music have you been listening to lately?
Well, my son just came back from Japan, and he brought me a Japanese issue of Classic Yes. So I found my USB turntable and set it up, and I've been listening to that, which was pretty cool. It's the same as the US, but it's got a couple extra things in it, like the Japanese lyrics, and which I can't read, but also a little 45 sized record that just came along with it, which is some live versions of Roundabout and a couple of other songs that played at 33, which is kind of cool. I've never seen, or maybe only once before, seen a record that was that size that played at 33. I've been listening to a lot of Bowie lately because my daughter's really gotten into Bowie.
Awesome.
So we have lots of conversations about David Bowie, and really regretting having never seen him live.
Yeah.
And then after he died, there was a group up in Burlington, Vermont, that performed Black Star, his last record, which came out 2 days before he died.
Great album too.
It's an awesome
I
album.
love that album.
And like, I was 2 hours away from being able to see it basically performed live by, I don't know how they did it, but I really regret that I didn't go to see that. It'll never happen again, And but anyway, so yeah, Bowie's awesome. So I've been listening to that, and what else? Green Onions. I listened to today, actually,
Nice.
which Booker T and the MGs.
Yeah.
Driving through South Buffalo on my way home from dropping my wife off at an alumni function. I don't know, what have you been listening to? More Mahler?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of classical on Tidal. I've been wanting to do this music review. I've been sort of struggling to get back into my writing routine, and also like videos and stuff on the Song Tripping channel. So I've been meaning for a long time to do this music review shootout of Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks, which is up there amongst my favorite Bob Dylan albums. It's a desert island album for me, for sure. And I had an email exchange with my old friend Jim Morris, and we got on the Blood on the Tracks stuff. I think I was talking to him about turntables because I might want to like upgrade my turntable. And he bought the Mobile Fidelity Blood on the Tracks version, and it kind of got me curious about the SACD version of that. So I found on eBay, I got a very good price on a used copy in very good condition of that album.
Mm-hmm.
And I started comparing it to I have two other versions on CD of that album with like different masterings and so on and so forth. So I thought, I really want to do a shootout because I did that with Beatles Revolver, like when they did the remix.
Right.
And I did it with John Wesley Harding, like about another Bob Dylan album. So there's like these three digital versions I want to compare, and I want to write something, and then I want to make a video of it. And I just haven't been able to get around to it. But basically I've like made up my mind over what my favorite version is for sure. And I think I might be ready to actually like put this down on paper and like script it out.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then, like, not only that, then I got interested in this big box set that came out a number of years ago, where they released every existent studio track from that album. So
Oh, wow.
he recorded this in 2 sessions. He did like about 4 days recording the songs in New York City. Phil Ramone was the engineer, and then he had a little bit, like, it sort of sat for a couple months, and but they were preparing it for release, and they even some like acetates went out and promo copies and things. And then he changed his mind, and he went back into the studio in Minneapolis and with brand new musicians and re-recorded it. So about half the album are New York tracks, and about half the album are the Minneapolis tracks. But so for this box set, it's a 6 CD box set. And I finally got around to buying it. For some reason, I hesitated for years. But then since I've been listening to this, I'm like, okay, I just got to get this now. And I found a good price on it. So on Amazon. And that's really fascinating. You hear basically every take from those New York sessions. And the Minneapolis sessions, the only thing that's left is the stuff that actually ended up on the album.
Okay.
So I think there's only like one disc worth of stuff from that.
That's surprising, isn't it?
It is, but I do think they remixed it. So I'll be interested to hear the remix. And then the other weird thing is the original studio takes were recorded at normal speed, but that the final release, they sped it up a little bit, like about 1.5%. And apparently this was a thing that some artists did because they thought it sort of juiced the final tracks a little bit. So like, I don't know if I can actually hear it, like hear the difference, but it's sort of at the correct speed.
Okay.
In this box set.
What's your target for doing this project?
I'd like to do it like maybe in the next couple of weeks.
Will you publish it on WordPress?
On medium.com.
Medium, okay.
Yeah, I have a page on medium.com, and it might show up in my Substack. So
cool.
Yeah, that's about it for that. What do we say we close out with another Thom Williams track?
Sounds good.
This is a Gresham Williams track. It may be a Thom Williams solo tune that Johnny plays on, and it's called Two Autumns.
From the surface, kidnapped to the dark, taken down to Hades in a rusted car. She became a legend, a diamond in the dark, through a river of her tears, through the township right next door. She stays, I go, autumns along this road goes no one. At the willow longing, the sirens now are wailing, the light of the day is failing. I told her, move toward the day. Accustomed to her prison, she slipped away. Not everyone is rescued, not every love is saved. Let time work its mystery, that's how this one is played. She stays, I go, autumns along this road goes no one. At the willow longing, the sirens now are wailing. The light of the day is failing.
Sounds appropriate.
So, Dave, what do you think you want to talk about for our October episode? Something maybe related to meditation, since you've been getting back into the flow with that?
Yeah, I think maybe we can talk about vision questing, which is something that I did 30 plus years ago, and has recently cropped up in my life. And it's connected to meditation in a very big way because it's basically a very long multi-day meditation, and probably too much to talk about today, but maybe we can whet the appetites of our listener.
Yeah. And if any of you have been on Vision Quest, like send us an email, padularasa@gmail.com, or if you want to share some thoughts about your meditation practice. And we're always happy to read listener mail anytime. And where we look forward to continuing the quest in October. Thanks, Dave.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jim.